get everything set up. I didn't know the timeline of events that was going to happen.
I'm sorry, Michael.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. If you don't know me, I'm Michael, the oldest of the grandkids, and in my book, that makes me the best.
I was going to ask, are you the favorite?
I'd like to think so.
And he's the only boy.
And the only boy.
That gives you an edge.
In all seriousness, I'd like to start off with a quote. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the hearts and lives of others. Pericles. This is a very old quote, and it's one of my favorites because as a man, your legacy is one of the most important things you can leave behind. And this quote speaks directly to the legacy of those little parts of yourself that you leave behind when you're gone. Today we're gathered here to honor the life and legacy of my grandfather, Billy Joe Patterson Sr. Or as most of us here, his grandkids, great-grandkids, and just about everybody else knows him as Pops. To me, Pops was many things. He was someone I could talk football with. He was a jokester, always full of laughter, jokes, and pranks. He was a teacher of wisdom, and he's taught me many things that I'll pass on to my son one day. He was a hard worker. And finally, he was a good man and a good role model for any young man to witness the way he loved and led his family. As I was writing this eulogy, and thousands of memories were just running through my head, three stood out to me the most. The first memory is my first deer. My first juvenile hunt was nothing short of incredible. As Buck has said, we had probably the best honey hole in Tennessee. I'd gone out the first morning. It was just me and Billy. Pops didn't go. I don't know, he may have been working. I don't know, but we went out, just me and him. And we seen some does. And any other kid would have shot one of them does and been happy. Not me. I wanted to wait. I wanted a buck. So we went home. And the next day, Pops come out with us. And I remember standing there at the barn as it started getting daylight. Pops and Billy started grunting and rattling. And as a little kid, just that itself is exciting and fun. And all of a sudden, out at the corner of the field, out comes an 8-point buck. Well, the rest is history. At that moment, I fell in love with hunting. And in my 9-year-old state of mind, I associated Pops with getting a buck. So I knew if I was going to shoot bucks, he had to be there. I had to have my Pops to see the bucks. You fast forward that several years, I'm a grown man. My next memory is of Pops' last deer he took off the farm. So, Pops had a few bouts with his heart and couldn't make it down to the farm as often. Me and Billy went down a few weeks before bow season, and we set up several mineral licks and cleared shooting lanes and got to looking at his area and decided we need to move his blind. So we moved it on down. He had no idea where it was at. I even let him use my crossbow, because drawing a compound bow would have been too much strain on his body. That first morning, we go out. Me and Billy walk in. It's dark outside. We walk in at dark, no problem. Pops has no idea where his blind's at. He's gonna wait till a little bit better light. He walks in a little bit after us. Probably just as it's getting good in daylight, he sends out a 3-letter text. BBD. Now, ladies, mine out of the gutter, because this is a church. BBD stands for Big Buck Down. At that moment, I said, you gotta be joking. There's no way he's just killed a big deer. He hadn't been in the woods 5-10 minutes. He sends us a picture. You can see a little piece of a deer body. Nothing much to give away what we were gonna walk up on. So we get down and we go check out this deer. As we walk up, Pops has the biggest and proudest look about himself. And he had shot a monster. Truly a trophy of a lifetime. And while we were talking about the hunt, Pop starts to refer to himself as the old professional. Now, you could argue, we set him up in a good spot. We put out the minerals, we opened the shooting lanes, we set him up. But one thing's for certain, out of 3 hunters in the woods that day, one put a monster in the truck. And thus the legend of the old professional was born. This last memory is one that'll stay with me forever. It's the most recent memory. When Pops went back to the hospital this last time, the first day I went to see him, he was still very aware and very talkative. Before I left, I went to give him a hug. Before I could speak, he told me he loved me and he was proud of me. As a man, when your father, your grandfather, or that role model in your life says those words to you, it hits a little deeper. It hits you in your pride and it makes you feel like you've accomplished something. And in some way it makes you feel like you're becoming a good man yourself. Now, while me and Pops bonded over football and hunting, he was truly a man of many talents. He was a great musician, an amazing hunter, and a very skilled prankster, so much so, we're not going to get into the escapades of Raw Bones and Sasquatch. He was a family man that loved his wife. Their love was truly something to admire, and there was never a dull moment when you were around Pops and Grandma together. They enjoyed many things in life, but none so much as being with their entire family. He loved her and she loved him. And to be together that long and still laugh like they did is a true testament to their love. Through each of his many talents, skills, and hobbies, Pops was able to connect with each of us in our own unique and special way, thus ensuring a little piece of him would live on and be passed down through us. He was a loving husband, father, grandfather, and friend that placed nothing above family. He has passed down immeasurable amounts of wisdom, life lessons, and skills to all of us that will continue to pass down for generations to come. The true measure of a man is the legacy he leaves behind. And the legacy of Billy Joe Patterson Sr., the old professional, will live on for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.